you better watch out. If your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the sword. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more, feeding from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Social. Got my two brothers with me. How are we doing, brother Titch? Are you all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a lot better than what I was, mate. I'm a lot better than what I was. I'm with it today. And how are you, brother Cieran?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, you sound better. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
you were struggling last Monday, weren't you? You was struggling, mate.
I was speaking to Titch earlier on, and I couldn't even remember what we talked about. I was far out of it. I couldn't remember what we talked about.
Oh, I can remind you. You talked a load of shite. That's what happened.
Well, I talk a lot of shit when I'm well. Right, no. So while I'm going through the chat, I want everybody, because Vinder's flooded chat again. First thing I want to talk about with you two is Will be at Spurs now. He's signed now, and so it's a done deal according to Fabrizio Romano. It's a 2-year contract with an extension of an extra year. Is that enough to rebuild Tottenham?
I think obviously Cieran knew about Big Ange before any of us did. So I'll say mine in brief, and then Cieran can give a more educated opinion on will he be a success. I'm gonna say I don't think so. I think they're gonna make him look bad. If Harry Kane goes, which is all things are leading to that. They're in a mess. The teams, that are already ahead of them are going to continue to be a fool. So he's not going to have the time or the resources, I don't believe, to come in and make an immediate impact at Spurs like he did at Celtic. So that's what I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation now, isn't it? I mean, he's delivered five trophies in 2 years at Celtic. Amazingly, he turned them right around. And like I say, Big Ange is like unknown to people in the Northern Hemisphere. He isn't to us because I've explained to you before how everywhere he's gone, he's won. He's won leagues in Australia, he's won leagues in Japan, and now he's won them in Scotland. He wins wherever he goes. But the trouble is, he's a builder. He builds a team. He starts with a team, he builds it, and he actually plays to a philosophy which is high press, very attacking, and very entertaining. And regardless of the result, that's how he will play. He reminds me a little bit of Bielsa at times, because he will not change his philosophy on football. Now, when he's joined Celtic, the first 6 games, he won 3 and lost 3. And Celtic supporters were questioning it, going, God, what have we got here? But they could see, and they are an educated football base, Celtic. They could see the entertainment value of the football. And so are other teams in Scotland, seeing it and going, wow, it is exciting football, regardless, when. And then he brought in his own players, and I think he even brought in Harry Kewell there as part of his coaching team. He brought in the Japanese boys, who have been a revelation up in Scotland. Absolute revelation.
Yeah.
Scoring goals for fun. They create chances non-stop. And but they gave him time. The supporters and the club gave him time to do it. But, in Scotland, it is a bit easier because really there's 2 major clubs that you've got to battle against. There's only one other than Celtic. The others are somewhere near, but not up at their level. So it was a perfect scenario for a Big Ange. And I'm not so sure Tottenham will give him, or Tottenham supporters will be that patient with him and let him do what he does. Because it'll be a completely turnaround from what they're doing now. And what Conte was doing, what Mourinho was doing. This is going to be different. This is why I wanted him so badly for West Ham. Not so much any trophy he's going to win for us, but the style of football he'll implement, and I could enjoy. I just don't know whether Tottenham will give him that. Good day, Lee.
How you doing, Lee?
Well,
It says 700 subscribers, well done all. Yep, it's a team effort. Definitely a team effort. Thanks and commit up, family. You're well. Leo, how you feeling? If you need to get off, you just get off. All right.
yeah.
Good boy. So, Cieran, right. You don't think he's going to be given the time, but another question is Daniel Levy going to give him the resources to do the job?
Well, whoever he brought in, he would have had to give him resources. You know, the trouble he's got there now is with Postecoglou coming in, is what happens with Kane. You know, Postecoglou could be losing their best asset straight away, or he'll do his best to keep him. So it wouldn't bother Postecoglou. If you lose him, he lose him, but he'll expect something. He isn't. You remember from the leagues he's been in, from Brisbane here and Melbourne in the A League, in the J League in Japan. He never had massive spends, and even in Celtic, they're not a big spending club. You know, they don't have the money to be a big spending club. So he's done it. All the leagues he's won, he's done it on a budget, and he's controlled everything and done everything. He brought the players in himself. What he needed, he thought he needed to play the way he wants to play. So he hasn't needed big money before, but this is a Premier League. The competition's higher. The clubs that are going to be in his space next year, and if you're looking, from 6 or 8 upwards, are a lot of teams now, isn't it? Because Newcastle has joined the fight. Villa are looking promising. Brighton are looking promising, and plus you've got all the usual top 6. So he's got a hard job to force that team back into it. Whether he can achieve it in the first season, we'll have to see. But it's a lot to do with Tottenham fans, and will they be patient? And I know that some Tottenham fans will think it's a good signing. Most probably won't, because they don't know enough about it. And they'll foo-par the Scottish League. Oh, that doesn't mean nothing. We know the treble, doesn't it? Of course it does. Because they were, if you look at Celtic before he turned up, they were nowhere. They were a shambles. He turned them round and stuck 5 trophies on the bloody table in 2 years.
Yeah,
I'll guarantee you. Harmony loves a bet, doesn't she? I will bet if they give him the 3 years, he'll put a trophy on the board for Tottenham. That's worth a bet. Because he's done a trophy. He's given a trophy to every other club he's ever been with. So, and this will be his hardest task. But I think if you want an outside bet, that's a good one.
Amani thinks total opposite. Very overrated. Being at a little in i.e. Australian teams, the Japanese side, then TD will be the first manager to get sacked.
Well, this is typical of what you're going to get from people who don't know anything about it. It's a very typical response. And Celtic supporters, a lot of Celtic supporters would have felt the same when he got there. They weren't, who the hell's he? They wanted, they wanted a name coming in there. They wanted someone to, because he's got a name. And this is the trouble. West Ham supporters got all excited when Pellegrini turned up. And I weren't, because the guy had already left for China. He'd already put his boots up. And he was a disaster. How many big managers have come to clubs, to Man United, to Chelsea, to Tottenham before, and have been disastrous? You can't. You got excited about Mourinho at Tottenham. Conte, and they were disasters in the end. Why? So to think that why isn't he got just as good a chance as them? He's got a great CV. Whether you want to say it's only Scotland and it's only Australia and it's only Japan, believe me, these places ain't easy to win leagues, especially Japan. Japan was a fantastic effort, and not only that, he did coach the national team and got them to a World Cup. The boy, I tell you, he's got something about it. But it's still a risk for Tottenham, and it's a risk for Ange as well. It is, because he could have stayed up at Celtic and been one of their legend managers for the rest of his life. Yeah. So, well, that is a typical response from people that don't know enough about him is that he ain't gonna blast him. Yeah, fair enough. No one thought Potter would collapse completely at Chelsea. Everyone thought he'd just carry on being a good manager as he was at Brighton. Well, that didn't work out, did it? Potter, Big Andrew's got just as much chance as any of the others of turning it round with his style of football. He's just got to get. His biggest problem is at Tottenham is getting the players believing in what he's doing, and that's what he got at Celtic. They did believe in it, and they did play it and go for it. So.
How do you think, apart from the financial aspect, how do you think Tottenham have convinced him to leave Celtic and come there?
Yeah, that's a good question, Titch. I don't know whether it's money alone. I don't know. I don't know whether Big Ange would. I think he's one of them though. He's 57 years of age now. This is the third. This is the third continent he's managed football in. I think he might just want to add it to his CV and test himself.
Yeah,
he might want to test himself and say, right, this is the biggest league in the world now. I've worked my way. He's done his yards, Can't say he hasn't, He's done it in Australia. Then he went to Japan. He's done it there. Then he went to Scotland. He's not like Lampard. The Lampard going to Everton was crazy. Gerrard going to Villa was crazy. They haven't done their apprenticeships. Well, Ange Postecoglou has, by far better than most managers. He has done his apprenticeship over years and years and years of coaching. And now it's to the pinnacle of the Premier League. And I think he probably just wants to test himself and thinks that he can do it. Yeah, and prove people like Harmy did there wrong. Prove everyone wrong. Because if you saw his post-match after the cup final the other day, he said, when I came to Celtic, the media, they thought I was a joke. That was his words. They thought I was a joke being signed. That's what the media thought about him. They don't now. Now they're all licking his ass. Calling him a guru and everything. But there you go. So he does. I think he will have something to prove that he can do it at the very highest. Now we know that isn't that simple. The Premier League. It's it's cost a lot of managers, isn't it? So.
Right, just a bit of breaking news on Twitter, which I don't really believe a lot of what I read on Twitter. But apparently, this morning on a news article, it was called Match MOT Extra. It says that within the next couple of hours, Leeds United could be the takeover could be announced within a matter of a couple of hours. The 49ers buying Razali 100% out. They've offered £170 million to get Razali out of the door. Now, Razali wants to stay. Apparently, he wanted to stay. He wanted to own two clubs, Leeds United and Sampdoria. Now, according to Twitter and everything, Leeds United, you've got your club back and all this sort of thing. I don't know whether it's true or not, but it was supposed to be announced within a few hours that Leeds United were going to be bought out. Razali were going to be 100% bought out of the club totally. So if it is true, it's good news. If not, whoever's making it up needs to stop because it's getting everyone excited. It's getting everybody excited on Twitter. You know what I mean? And I don't, until it's come from clubs and thing itself, I'm not sure. Stu really enjoyed the stream with Gary the other day. Yeah, cheers, thank you. I'm trying to help him, bless him. He's trying. You remember Gary from watching on Leeds, Titch?
Yeah,
he's trying to get there. He did a video defending Razali. Now I didn't get involved because that's what he believes. That's what he wants to believe. But he's trying to get there. Bless him. I've put the link in the description down below. So if anyone wants to check him out, go check him out. Hiya, Darren, Ian, sorry. Good evening, everyone watching. Hope you are all well and had a good weekend. How is Legendary today? Likes as normal. Good luck. Thank you, Ian.
I did.
West Ham United this week with a Darlington FC fan.
Yeah. Cheers, Ian.
Nice
You
one.
never know your luck.
So second point is, if Man City win treble, will it surpass the Man United treble? Will it be a better treble than Man United?
If you think about it, it's exactly the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's no better. It's exactly the same. You know, there's pros and cons. I think the style of play would be Man City, but Man United had all those academy products that had come through, and I know they kind of scraped it and got a bit lucky here, there, and so. And we always focus on the now rather than acknowledging people's achievements from the past. So for me, it's equally as good. That's it. Yeah. You can't compare them, but they are exactly the same thing. You understand? And maybe Man City have done it in a more pleasing on an eye way, if they do it, especially the way they dismantled Real Madrid. But at the end of the day, it's just like when you win a game, you only get 3 points for that. So. Yeah, I would say they're level. I don't know about Cieran.
Yeah, same, mate. I think, very, very hard to compare eras. Man United have probably had the best manager of the time of that era, and Man City have got the best manager at the time in this era, and it's showing, isn't it? And the only difference is with Man City, they've got a little bit more backing. But yeah, I wouldn't compare them. I think they're equally as impressive. It depends whether it'll start looking better if Man City go on next year and start smashing trophies again. Then you'll see it. You could say that Man City are achieving more and are just a better team, which it's hard to compare, isn't it? Different game.
That's that question to bed. Right, Titch, are you still going live for the big game?
Yes, Inky. We're going live tomorrow at 10 for a preview. And then I think 7:30, I'm going live on Wednesday for the final. So yeah, I am. I'll be live tomorrow, or we'll be live tomorrow, and then I'll be live on Wednesday at about 7:30, I think.
I've got some more. We will be getting into that. No, they both bought them. West Ham winning in Europe this week will overachieve them both. I like that. I like a way of thinking, though. I like a way of thinking.
Well, I like the way you're thinking, Harmony. Well, we had a bit of a spend up ourselves, if you remember.
Yeah, but to be fair, right? How many? I'll let you think about this. How many of them players you bought actually worked?
Well, I suppose you got to look at how many are on the pitch, and yeah.
Paqueta, really, isn't it? That's it.
Paqueta and Aged.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Aged, yeah.
And Areola, I suppose. Yeah, maybe Kera starts, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right,
yeah, true.
Question for you for Leeds. Leeds are linked with Steven Gerrard. Does he have what it takes to get Leeds promoted? Somewhat Kufu, you know Kufu. He says that is the English version of Jesse Marsh. Well, do you think he's got what it takes to get us promoted? If he gets the joint favourites now are Steven Gerrard and Cobraham at Leeds.
Who's the other one, Stu?
Cobraham. He used to Carlos Cobraham, West Brom manager. Used to.
Oh right, yeah, I know you mean that. Yeah. Yeah, I heard a lot of talk about him last season, wasn't there? When everyone was scrambling for managers, that his name came up quite a bit. He was doing quite well, wasn't he? A bit of Bielsa's a protege, is he?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I think that's why he's been linked again, to be honest, because we're desperate to get back to the Bielsa style of play, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if he does that, I suppose that's an obvious choice, isn't it? Gerrard, maybe this is where he should have been to do his time. Like I said, to do an apprenticeship. They should be, the likes of him and Lampard should be in the championships and that, not thrown into the Premier League just after a few good games somewhere and then taking on a big Premier League club, mate. You're destined to fail. You look at the amount of experienced managers last year that failed. How many managers sacked last year? 13? 14. the odds of them succeeding, are slim. So
Yeah.
do your yards, do your apprenticeship, do the championship, make a name for yourself. Actually, work at your craft, and you can't just walk into the Premier League and take it off. You got to work at what you're doing, and coach and believe in what you're doing. So I think Gerrard wouldn't be the worst pick, but like I said, you wouldn't know because his resume so far isn't that brilliant. But I think he took on too much too soon, as Lampard did.
It's fair enough. Cieran says, "Good evening, lads. Chat, Amani. How are we all? We're all good, thanks, Cieran. And then didn't take any of the 3 rules for Cieran. I think it's about West Ham, spending money within the. Very true, Harmony. But alleged financial fair play rules. nothing proven yet, is there? I'm sure they did breach it, mate. But they've got enough lawyers and accountants to work their way around it, haven't they? So I'm sure they did. But I'm sure Barcelona have. I'm sure PSG definitely have. Yeah.
And Real Madrid. I think there's a lot of them that have. All these teams with these super players they've got in, they've all done something dodgy at some stage. So they're not the only ones.
I'm not sure about Gerrard. I think that we've spoken about the managerial merry-go-round and all the same names, and his agent will go to these clubs and Steven Gerrard and I don't think he's right for where Leeds are at this minute in time. And I think that you could easily see him halfway through the season, it's not going well, and he either walks or you understand, and now it's a whole season where you potentially could have been trying to get back up, where it's just been wasted because you've employed the wrong manager. So him or Corberhan, however you pronounce his name, I think Corberhan would be the more sensible choice for Leeds over Gerrard.
Right, now I know Lee's got a different opinion on this. Lee, can Steven Gerrard get Leeds United promoted, and why?
I think I can get promoted.
You do, don't you? You think, what did I say? You almost got Aston Villa relegated from Premiership. And what did you say about Premiership?
He never coached in Championship before.
So it might be different this time.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So would you want him, Lee?
Yeah, I want Gerrard, yeah.
You do want Gerrard, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that because of how good a player he was, or you think he could do the job?
I think he can do the job.
Okay. You never know.
No, thank you to Mr. Gerrard. I think he says no. Amani says Gerrard won the Scottish League. We're not allowed to buy players, unlike your pal Ange. Gerrard is ahead of the fall that we are at Bielsa. So Amani's on Lee's side. Amani thinks Gerrard Street's ahead of the fall that we've had since Bielsa at Leeds. Today is to didgeridoo. Tottenham fans 2023. Right, it's a good question for you all. Out of the 3 sides who got relegated, who do you think's in the best position to get promoted? First time of asking.
Southampton.
I think so. No.
Southampton, I think they are. But I think because most of their players really might not leave.
Yeah.
They might not lose world class, but they really don't have to. I don't think get that many players to compete. In the Championship, they might lose world class, which might give them money to strengthen. So I think they're in the best position myself. Leicester, I think, any good players they've got, I think they'll end up losing them.
Yeah.
They'll probably lose Maddison and Harvey Barnes, and they could be struggling to keep
Tillemans
hold of.
will be gone.
Who's that, mate?
Tillemans.
Tillemans released.
Because his contract is expired, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been released now. Tillemans is a free agent.
And you got to think, at the start of last season, Arsenal, they could have sold him for, I think, close to 50 mil with 1 year to go. They held on to him. They've got relegated, and now he goes for nothing.
And that's Sionchu, that defender, he's on list as well. He's now a free agent as well.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're in. Yeah, I think Southampton, because look, they've got in a new manager already. They've got
sporting director.
Yeah, contingency plan for relegation. So I think they're best prepared to come back up. If any of them do come out, I think they're in the best position.
I agree. I do. This is a name what popped up as well, Amani. John Daly Thompson, Blackburn manager, ex-Melbourne manager, is in with a shout as well. I think his second favourite, well, third favourite. If you think about it, if you take out the favourites, his third on betting market.
Mm.
So yeah, he's a good shout as well, Amani. And Amani said since by a mile. But correct me if I'm wrong as well. They've been promised the manager's been promised £100 million for this transfer window.
Who's Southampton?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Wow, that means obviously they're looking at knowing they're going to sell Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what other assets have they got that can generate?
Well, I think their director's pretty rich, isn't he? So he's promised them £100 million for players.
And the thing is, if they've got a plan like that, if you're a player that's going to smash the championship, and then you've got Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester approaching you, they may well get the pick of the players they want because of the plan that they have. So if they're going to spend that sort of money, then yeah, you'd think that their aim is let's just go straight back up.
When does transfer window open? Is it around the 14th of June?
I don't even know.
Officially, 12th or 14th of June. Now the Leeds are so far behind 8 ball because we haven't got a manager in place. We don't know if we're having a sporting director or not. Some players, some clubs have already started making deals of who we're going to be signing and stuff like that. We haven't even got a manager in place yet. So we're already behind at 8 ball, which is why I think Leeds fans are getting a bit edgy about this season. Eamon Green says Gerrard could attract a better class of player because of who he is and who he played for, and his connections with Liverpool. He could get some good players on loan from them. Speaking about players coming with managers, apparently, I don't know. This is the rumor. Spurs are looking into acquiring Harry Maguire's services at Tottenham. And that Chinese guy who Celtic brought in, that Chinese striker, that Japanese striker who Celtic brought in.
They got a few Japanese, but yeah, you're talking about the main one, I think.
Yeah. Apparently, he's supposed to be going with him to Spurs.
See, Celtic fans won't be happy with that. If there's one thing Big Ange leaving that they're not happy with, they want him to stay. They love him. Yeah. But if he starts taking players with him, they're not going to be very happy. It's Kyogo, I think, their main striker. The boy's been on fire.
Yeah. Apparently, it might only cost about £45 million or something.
Yeah. See, Celtic might not be able to turn that down, because you got to remember, winning the money up in Scotland for these clubs is so small compared to the Premier League. Because I'm pretty sure for Celtic to win the league there, it's only worth about $3 million to them. That's all they get out of it. It's really tiny money. So for them to be able to sell a player for that kind of money, which is a lot of money for a player that's just had one season in the Scottish League, that's a lot of money and a big risk because you don't know whether he's up to it in the Premier League. So yeah, they'd have to take that kind of money if it was offered. But I know that Celtic fans won't be too happy.
Cieran thinks that it's Southampton. Leicester own a big business collapsing. Leeds and Razali in the state, and we have an owner investing in new backroom team, including Willox as a director of football from Manchester City. Have we been brought out now, have we? I'm not sure, Adam. According to Twitter, yeah, but I don't believe everything I read on Twitter. Our owner has promised Russell Martin is the biggest budget in the league, and he has invested extra to ensure that we don't have to accept low ball bids from any other teams. He won the Swedish league twice, 10 times more advanced than Australia, Japan, and Scotland. He's a cross between Yeoman and Bielsa. Fair enough, Amani.
Who's you talking about?
That's not John Dardon Thomason, is it?
Yeah, John Don Thomas, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't comment, Harmony. I don't know who the guy is, really.
If she's talking about him, you know who he is. You know the Danish striker. He's played for Newcastle. John Dahl Thomason. He's in charge of Blackburn. Yeah, but I don't know if that's who she's on about.
Don't know, yeah.
So he was in charge of Blackburn when they beat us in the FA Cup, was it? Or
yeah.
No, League Cup or whatever it was, yeah.
Right. Yeah, well.
Get in there. Right, here we go. Championship transfer window opens on June the 9th. Same day as Russell Martin will be announced. Prem window opens June the 14th, right? So the transfer window, the championship window. See, this is all confusing to me now because we're not in big leagues with you guys. We're not sitting at them big tables anymore. We're bloody food banks at church over at roads and stuff. You know what I mean? We're a small fish in a big pond. Now that we're back in championship, we're swimming with perch and you know what I mean. We're starting to find our level again. That's what we're doing. Right, next one for you guys. Here you go. Right now, this is about These are about West Ham. Right, here we go. Right, Mikel Antonio has said that Scamacca doesn't suit Moyes' style of play. Do you think he was right in what he said? And also, do you think he should have said it?
Geezer? Oh, okay. Listen, I spoke to Cieran on the phone the other day, and I said from reading, not listening to the interview, but reading, the key parts, I don't think he really said anything wrong. I don't think for me, it wasn't the way he said it. It wasn't disrespectful. He was just stating the truth. Cieran said when we signed Scamacca, it makes no sense. If you understand, if you can't make Haller work, it makes no sense. So I don't think he said it in a way. He might have said it in a way that knowing that this guy was brought in to replace me, and now he's almost like stick that in your pipe and smoke it. But generally, I don't think he said anything too bad. I think that the timing is not good, but that's not on Mikel Antonio. The West Ham apparently vetted that and said, look, it's fine. He's just got to come out after the final. So you can't blame Mikel Antonio for speaking the truth. And then the club vetting it, they could have said, no, that is never going out. They said, yeah, it can go out, just not yet. So I don't really assign. I just think he's not the sharpest tool in the box, I don't think. He likes attention. He says stupid things. But I don't think it was that bad. And I think he was actually speaking the truth. So that's my opinion. What about you, Cieran?
Yes.
Yeah, well, there's nothing he said that wasn't true, right? He's saying what every supporter is saying, right? But to play devil's advocate here, you can take this any which way you want, right? If you can sit there, what Titch just said is right. He didn't say anything wrong, really. The timing of it is bad for me. It shouldn't be said. I don't think anyone should be on podcast as the season goes on. But that's a different question. But if you want to look at it this way, he said that Scamacca doesn't suit Moyes' style of play. Well, then that's a criticism of Moyes. Why did you buy him? Which has always been my criticism of Moyes. Why the hell did you buy him? You're not going to play to his strengths. So he is criticising Moyes without criticising Moyes, but he is. Yeah. Scamacca isn't that type of player. He doesn't have that same sort of fight. You can take that either way. That it just doesn't suit Moyes, or he's not enough of a fighter. You can take that as a criticism. This is the problem with these people doing podcasts. You can turn whatever he said, whatever suits you. To me, everything he said was not a problem. I just don't believe you should be saying it while the season's still going on. You still got a big final coming up. It should have come out afterwards. Now, apparently, it should have come out afterwards and not before, but it did. That's why I don't like these people doing it. And Moyes is just as guilty. He done a bloody podcast as well, didn't he? You know, so it's hard for him to point the finger. So I don't believe in the podcast while the season's going on. I had a funny feeling though watching Antonio. It was like, you brought Skamaka in to replace me. How well did that work out? I thought there was a little bit of that in it too, you know. He was delighted. He could delight to give her that criticism because you rely on him. You rely on me now because your big star signing didn't work out. I thought he took a bit of joy in that too.
Do you know what I would say though? There is a lot of hypocrisy from a lot of these channels, and I'm talking about West Ham, right? Everybody criticised Moyes. Moyes out. You know, you got Skamaka, you don't play him, and blah blah blah. Antonio basically said what the fans are saying, and now those same people or same channels are now slaughtering Antonio when he didn't sanction when it goes out. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So, there's a lot of, like I said, hypocrisy, I believe. But, maybe Antonio should have saved that until Skamaka weren't there or Antonio was no longer there or Moyes weren't there. Like, I don't think he really needed to say it, but it was the truth, though. You understand? He spoke nothing that most people have not already been saying. Yeah.
No, it's hard to disagree with anything he said, but I just wish he hadn't said it. Because it takes, you know, when you're leading up to a final, you don't need this publicity. You'd rather everything be a bit more positive than have to worry about what he said and what he didn't say. And, you know, just as well, Skamaka's not fit. No, because, I mean, this is the trouble with him saying it is, it isn't just about pissing off Skamaka and the Moyes. You know, the likes of Noble being in, you know, could be going up to him now, or Cresswell. Some of the experienced players might not be too happy with him doing it either. You know, that's how it can create unrest in the team. Going, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that, you know, because I don't think they'd be too pleased with it, the boys that have been there a while. But no, it's just timing. The timing was all wrong.
Do you know, but there is a flip side to that. And the flip side is that, you know, some people say, you know, it's destabilized and it's the wrong time and that. But then some people, you know, as far as we're not aware of, is that maybe behind the scenes they're saying to him, now you better go out and put in a 10 out of 10 performance. Yeah, we need to win this. Now we definitely need to win this because of what. So ideally, no, it doesn't come out. But I'm saying, like, now you always have to make good of a bad situation, and maybe like behind the scenes they're saying, right, you now pressure on me. You better have a man of the match performance, and we better win this. So it might give them motivation without him intending to do that. I'm just saying, hopefully.
Well, did you? Haven't they all been over there for quite a while in Prague? Haven't they all been over there for quite some time now? The whole team bonding and stuff.
No, I don't think so.
No, they went to Portugal for some. Yeah, they went there, and I think they're back now. They went there for a week, you know, warm training and whatever, or just, you know, a bit of a holiday, really, just to have a bit of a break and a bit of training, and they're all at the fun park and all that apparently. And now they're back, and now they're probably there now. I don't know when they'll leave, and I'd imagine they're there by now. But that's it. But one thing, just to finish on that podcast thing, wasn't it him and Callum Wilson? Did you hear about the Richarlison one?
No.
Well, they were having a pop at Richarlison on the podcast, on the Callum Wilson podcast. And apparently, Richarlison tweeted, well, how many goals have either of you two scored in the World Cup then? I gave him it back. So, you know what I mean? This is where I don't believe in these podcasts during the season. Because obviously, Richarlison saw it, he weren't happy, and replied to it. Because they must have been caning him.
See? And yeah, I don't know. If you're going to do these podcasts, then yeah, you know, I'm all about freedom of speech, but if you're going to try and have pops at fellow professionals, then you have to expect a backlash for that, or
I think
a response.
Yeah.
But the best way to stop it is by not letting them do any podcasts through the season, and then they won't be put in this position, would they? But that's down to clubs. It's the clubs They have to. I'm assuming that they have to go to a club and say, "Look, boss, do you mind if I do this podcast?" Or to whoever's in charge, and they either say yay or nay. And if they say yeah, then they can't. It's like what's that famous saying? You can't take and eat it. You can't expect to do a podcast, have a general chat, and then them say no, we didn't like you saying, but it's a general chat, isn't it? You know, it's like us having a chat now. Some people might not agree with what we say, but it's just a general chat. You know, people can't have the cake and eat it. You know, and I think the only way to stop it is by not having any podcasts over the season.
You know, it's like, say I'm playing for West Ham now, Stu, and I say, yeah. I said, but see that, what's his name? Cieran. Oh, he's a nightmare. He's a nightmare, mate. He don't want to train. He just wants to turns up late, gets away as soon as he can. Hey, you can't be saying things like that, regardless of what you think. My God, the backlash would be severe, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
you really got to keep your mouth shut about your own players. So no matter what you think, when you retire or you move on, well, you know, go for your life.
Yeah,
but
and that's, you know, back in the day, that's how it was. You know, you'd hear, like, now you might hear Harry Redknapp's got stories for days about, you know, players and how he, you know, sanctioned transfers and stuff. But I'm saying, like, people normally speak about players good and bad and indifferent once the career's done, or at the very least once they're no longer in the same changing room. So it's kind of.
Well, here's a scenario for you, boys. Is it? Can you imagine the 1966 World Cup final, right? Now, Bobby Moore, captain. Remember then, Jeff Hurst got picked to play in that game. Now, our centre forward for England then was Jimmy Greaves. But Jimmy Greaves got injured. Jeff Hurst came in and they got to the final. Jimmy Greaves is now uninjured. He's ready to play. The biggest decision of Alf Ramsey's career was whether he played Jeff Hurst or Jimmy Greaves. And remember, there was no substitutions in 66. So the 11 you pick is the 11 who play, and that's it. And he picked Jeff Hurst. Now, you can imagine Bobby Moore saying back then, oh, well, he's really made a ricket there. He should have played Jimmy Greaves because he's the best striker in England, which he was. And then Jeff Hurst goes on and scores the hat-trick, and Alf Ramsey, made a brilliant decision.
Yeah.
And Bobby Moore would have looked really stupid if he'd said anything. But he wouldn't have said anything because that's not what you do. You go by what that manager picks and what he does. But this is, that was the one, a massive decision to pick Jeff Hurst over Jimmy Greaves. And he did.
And look how that turned out.
You can't criticise it. You know what I mean? To me, you're setting yourself up for a fall when you do these things. You know, you really are.
Right. Antonio was part of the problem of Scamacca not settling. Antonio was trying to get other players not to pass to Scamacca. Antonio has been the big IM since January.
Well, I don't know about that. Unless you're at the training ground, I don't know how you do that. But
Really?
he could be angling for a move as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, that could be part of it too, you know. At the end of this season, he might want to move on somewhere. That's... Who knows?
Right, well, Amanda, I'm going to present these on Friday, but I will show you which trophy Leely's won. We were going to do it today, but Russell wasn't available. And we were going to do FPL trophy presentation.
Because he didn't win, he weren't available.
Yeah, he ain't turning up, mate. He don't go to presentations, he's not getting anything.
Yeah.
Hey!
He says, "Oh, I'm not available until Friday." He says, "But if you want, you can just tell everybody that." I says, "Well done." He says, "No, I'll wait for you, Russell, for Friday."
What a little...
I changed it to Friday. I'm making that kid come on.
Baby.
Don't you worry. He's not getting away with nothing. But Lee, that's the trophy you won, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Nice one. Who got that together? Who got the trophies together?
Amani got
Well done. That's nice.
TDT League trophies. And I got the donkeys at backside and the other one.
What, you came bottom?
No. No, I thought the donkey's backside.
Oh, this is a good thing as well, Cieran. So basically, for the cup competition, they've got
For the
winner
league.
and runners up, but for
Yeah.
the league, they've got winners and wooden spoon, like
place.
last. So Russell came second, so he don't even get a runners up try.
Yeah, he has nothing now.
Yeah.
That's the donkey one.
Who won that again? Who
That's
was-
gone to Tom Rogers.
so Tom was the
Nice.
lowest place.
That's the one I wanted.
It looks like you, Stu. Looks like you a bit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so look, it's 3D and everything.
Yeah.
It's even got the
That's
backside.
nice.
I wanted that trophy. Lee like that trophy. Buy him another.
So Russell is trophyless.
Well done, Harmony. That's a nice touch, now, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, Russell's trophyless, mate. Russell's trophyless. Useless.
Yeah, useless.
Talk shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, talk a good game, but don't produce, mate. It's
the expert.
yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, none of you don't listen to him. Otherwise, you wouldn't have won anything.
I agree. Perhaps Antonio knows he has. Hang on a minute. Perhaps Antonio knows he's out on his ear come the end of the season. Perhaps he's just sticking a knife in where he can. I don't know if he'd do that. I don't know if he'd do that deliberate. When knowing that he's going to play a final, I don't think he'd do it that. I don't think he'd do it deliberate. Definitely not.
Do you know one thing that I think Antonio is believing his own hype, but what he fails to realize is that you work in David Moyes' system. You're not a Premier League quality player, right? So you put him in another team, and you're going to see
Exactly.
They strike. Yeah, you are suited to this. Like, you should be grateful that he's formulated a system
Absolutely.
that does accommodate you.
The,
So you're not
the
that
last
guy.
person he should be criticising is Moyes, because he'd be on the bench for most other managers. Because Moyes needs him to work how he works, how he sets up. So he should be praising David Moyes. But maybe, like I said, when we brought Skamaka in, maybe he looked at it, Antonio, and said, well, that ain't going to work. And, he probably said it at the time, and now he wants to prove himself right, like I said at the time. It's crazy, isn't it? I watched a little thing there. Gio had a boy from the Italian podcast on. Was it yesterday or last night or this morning? He just gave him an insight into Fiorentina. And he asked him about Skamaka, what they think of him in Italy and that. And he said, I'd done a podcast when you signed him, when West Ham signed Skamaka. He said, I could not believe he was going there. It didn't make sense. I predicted it at the time that it'll be a flop, and he'll probably last one season and be out of there. Exactly what I said. So I'm as good as the Italian podcast.
Yeah.
And he watches him every week. So he knew that it didn't work in a Moyes system. It's amazing how these, people in the know that it doesn't seem to suit Moyes, yet Moyes doesn't know. And you go, wow. So surprising.
And Big Mally Leeds are looking at a pre-season friendly with Rangers. It's got Gerrard written all over it.
Ooh.
And we've got a game. I know we've got a game against Man United in Norway. It's the pre-season. So,
you're not in Brisbane this year, mate.
No,
you're not in Brisbane this year, sir.
We were supposed to be going to America, but they kicked us out. They didn't want us.
All right.
Because you're not Premier League.
Cancelled. I think they've stuck Fulham in it now instead. Antonio hopes to become a TV pundit when he retires.
Yeah.
Perhaps he sees himself as Roy Keane, where he says controversial stuff to get likes. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, I do believe that, Eamon. I think it is. That's the road they're going, isn't it? Trying to get into that. But you'd want to be very careful what you do say, though, in these sort of podcasts to get to what they do.
Yeah.
Because you can't always get away with it. They don't like too much controversy. They accept Roy Keane because he's entertaining, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I think you'd have to be careful.
Yeah, and also you don't want to come across as a liability. You know, they think, can we even trust this guy on live TV? Because he might say something so stupid or outlandish. So if that's his aim, then I think he's one of the ones that every now and again you get him on, but I can't. He's not as a regular unless you've got some sort of comedy type football show, then maybe. But the serious stuff, it's not for him. Definitely,
he might tackle the when America do the commentary on the games, like is it Fox and stuff like that? He might be suited for. But like you said, I think the English journal, the Sky Sports, the BT Sport, they're a bit careful of who they employ, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
And like you said, Titch, on there you're live.
Yeah,
you're live. It's not something you can edit. You've got to be careful.
Alf Ramsey couldn't have played with Greaves because Greaves was out.
Well, that's why I heard it at the time, Eamon. Apparently, he was fit for that final. He was injured before the game, but I'm pretty sure he was fit to play that final. Probably not match fit, but apparently he could have played.
He was fit. I watched the documentary maybe 2 months ago, and Jimmy Greaves said, it was acknowledged he was fit, but Alf Ramsey didn't want to take that gamble, and I think they said he saw something in Jeff Hurst that just gave him a feel. I'm sure that's what they said. So I think he just took a gamble, calculated gamble.
Yeah. Hell of a decision, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Fantastic. Well done, Lee. You caught it. Thank you, saying here, Lee, for winning trophy. And you do it all on your own. You don't need Russell. You don't need Russell, do you, Lee? You do it yourself.
No.
You don't have to listen to him, mate. I keep telling you. It's just part of furniture now. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to him. Antonio done a podcast in January where he was angling for a move. Other players, he was going and staying, letting rumours out of Antonio's antics. Scamacca and Ings got injured.
Yeah, half remember that, Eamon. Yeah, he did actually. Said some things on it. I can't remember what he said, but yeah, it looked like he was looking for a move.
So Antonio was meant to stay because of Scamacca and Ings injured. Salt Hill in the Sea. Yeah, got more fun than Brighton and Blackpool and Brighton. I better tell you. Nelly, hi again. Hiya, Malcolm. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Mally, you meant. Hiya, Mally. That's what he meant. Hiya, Manny. Hope you're okay. Babysitting these four. Well, someone's got to keep us in check. Right, Mail Online Sport breaking. Leeds are reaching nearer to reaching an agreement with the 49ers Enterprises, and a 170 million takeover for the club could be completed this week. Thanks, Inky. So it hasn't been announced. It's going to happen eventually, but not quite yet. But as soon as it happens, that's all that matters. Jimmy was fit, but Hurst was match fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
Eamon Green says Scamacca isn't a flop. He was just taking his time to settle in. Piquetta was seen as a flop until he got used in the Prem. If Scamacca didn't get injured, he wouldn't be. Who's to say that he wouldn't be settled in by now?
Yeah, I don't think Scamacca's the issue. I think Moyes is the issue.
Yeah.
The injuries haven't helped, but I think Scamacca's a good player. He just doesn't suit Moyes' system the way he wants to play. I know Moyes wanted to try and change it, and that's probably what he was looking at. But the boy from the Italian football podcast, he was saying that if you watch him in Sassuolo, he plays like a front three, coming deep, a bit like Harry Kane, links up the play. That's his style, not to be a lone wolf up top on his own. He said you just can't play that way. So when it weren't working for Moyes, he went back to that style, and obviously Scamacca's then he's really surplus to requirements. I do believe he'll leave, and if Moyes stays, and we'll lose another load of money.
Hermione says, Stu, my friend in Bergen in Norway says that the tickets for Leeds Man United are from 44 NOK to 84 NOK. That's That is £3.50 to £6.50, not 80 like Gary said. I think you got mixed up with the 84, to be honest with you, man. Like Gary says, you also pay a service charge, maybe £10 all in.
Yeah,
Like Bradford, Leeds and Man United.
Yeah, because I was thinking £80 in Norway for a friendly. I was
Mate.
thinking that's the ridiculous. Yeah, that's a joke.
Even though, guys, when Leeds came here to Brisbane, remember I tell you then, Stu, what I paid Cieran bought the tickets. It was something like $125, which is about 70 quid
Each.
You know, it's maybe maybe £60. But around at the time with the rate, it was about £60 a ticket just to go watch Leeds here in Brisbane. It was a lot, yeah.
And that was Leeds against
Brisbane
or
Villa.
Oh, Villa, sorry. Yeah.
Villa.
But yeah, £60, man, that's a lot.
Well, that's nothing new for Australia, mate. They deal with everything.
And I think that game was when John McGinn injured Archie Gray.
Hurt him, yeah, bad. He hurt him bad in that game, didn't he?
Kept him out for a long time. But I'm hoping that he comes good. I really am hoping that he comes good. Mikel Antonio, and right, just let me do some banners. Last one, probably this is last one, right? So we wish West Ham the best of luck with Fiorentina. Can they do it? There we go. I think that's a good way to sort it out. Can they do it, Titch? Can West Ham win the Europa League?
Not if Moyes.
Europa Conference. Sorry.
Not if Moyes does what Moyes generally does. If he changes up a bit and tries to be more on the front foot, then of course we can. It's a final. But if he thinks he's going to go against Fiorentina, sit back and hope to get a counter attack or a set piece, not against them. Their manager is too good, too tactical, and they as a team are too good for those tactics to work. So we can win it, but Moyes would have to approach it differently to what he's done the rest of this tournament.
The rest of his time,
and I can't see him doing that. And I can't see
that's not happening, is it? He ain't changing nothing.
Yeah.
He ain't changing nothing. But to be honest, I think this is the first. It's got it right. It's the first team we've met in this whole Conference League. This is the first real team we've met, and they've had a poorish season in the Serie A. They finished 8th. But when that Italian guy was on with Giode, what he was saying was actually West Ham might be the team they don't want to play because of the style of Moyes. Because this guy likes to play really high press, high tempo, and high line. And he said that could suit West Ham because that's where they've come unstuck this season is the counter-attacking sides, because they've got goals all over them up front, but they do concede a lot from being too gun-ho. A bit like Bielsa by the sounds of it. You know what I mean? They're very high press. They've got a Gonzalez on the right wing, apparently. Who's very, very good. Who's worrying. They've got a good front three. They've got that Amrabat at the back there too, haven't they?
In the middle.
He was
in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the middle, at the central. He's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
He was good in the World Cup, wasn't he? With
really
the
World Cup.
Yeah, he was impressive. So they have got good players, but he said the way Moyes plays, this is according to him anyway, that it's probably a good thing West Ham are like this. What worries me is beating the high press, because I think notoriously we're terrible at passing at times, bringing it out of the back. We're terrible.
Yeah.
We give it away too much, far too much. And if we do that, they'll punish us, because they have scored a lot of goals. Since January, he was saying that's when they turned their season round a bit. They were scoring and winning a lot of games, and they seem to win a lot of games away from home, more so than at home. So I think it's a very tough ask, really tough ask. I'm not confident at all about this game, because I'd say this is the first bit of quality we've been facing since the tournament started. I think every game we played, we should have won. We should have won. Where they are and where we are, we should have won. I've said it from the beginning. There's no reason as a Premier League team that any team we come up against up till now, we shouldn't beat. Now we're talking about an Italian team and they're very good at the dark arts as well. And a high pressing team. You know, we could end up just keep booting it long. If we do that, then, you know, we just give them the ball back most of the time. So, yeah, I'm not confident.
No, I'm not confident.
A bit of breaking news for you. AC Milan director Paolo Maldini will leave AC Milan with immediate effect. It is over. It is over after tense meetings today with the club chairman Jerry Clatton there, due to different visions for the future of the club. It also says that co-director Ricky Massacre is also set to leave AC Milan. So it looks like they've had a bit of a fallout. Malcolm says back in 1984, a beer was £5. Did you think what it is now? Got to think though. Got a bit flooded. And then the man says, Malcolm, I hear this nonsense all the time about Sweden too. If you're daft enough to pay it, then you're daft. I don't drink, but 1 litre of lager. 1 litre of lager and 2-quart meal is £10 in Stockholm, if you know where to go. And then this is going to reverting back to you, Cieran. Florentina play a high-pressing game and they leave spaces at the back. If West Ham beat their press, we could easily score a couple of goals against them on the counter-attack. Yeah,
that's basically what Matey was saying. He said they do play a real aggressive high press, and we've got to beat that press. So I'm just not sure we're good enough passing-wise to beat it. Maybe we can. You know, I think everyone has to be really at it at the back there. Again, that's to have one of these 8 out of 10 performances, not his 3 out of 10 performances. You know, he really does. If he plays, I presume he will. Bonner could be an option, but I think he'll go again, Zuma. But that press, we've got to, especially the first 15 minutes, we can't be giving away silly balls coming out the back, you know, and getting punished, because we'd be out of this tie really quick. So, yeah.
And then Eamon says Florentina won a lot of games away from home because they usually the home team come out to attack, and that's Florentina. I didn't buy one. I didn't buy a scarf for the missus. It was £18 a man, but Mary loved it, so it's worth it, innit? Good man, and Malcolm. That's good to hear. Right, let's. I know Titch has got to shoot off in a minute, so let's just wrap up with one more question, if you don't mind, people. Titch, I know you're going to do this on your thing, so I'm not going to ask you for the score prediction, but do you think West Ham can win this comfortably? Do they need to score first?
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to score first. We can't win it comfortably. If we do win, it's going to be tense. But yeah, I think West Ham definitely has to score first against this team.
And you, Cieran? Do you think? What do you think? Do you think West Ham? Do you think if Florentina score first, he puts them? You know, is there any way back for West Ham?
Well, if we look at the season, some of our best games is after we've gone 1-0 down. So, but every cup final can win. I don't care who you play in a cup final. We could be playing Man City. You can win it. You know, you can win any cup final. But we've just got to be on our game, man. We can't have the lackluster performances we've had, you know, at the end of the season. Well, not the end of the season, the middle of our season. We had so many poor performances from so many players. Everyone's got to be on their game. So we can win it. But you know at West Ham, I'd love to go to the final where we, you know, score 2 in the first half and then nick 1 in the third half and make it nice and easy and coast to the win line without any stress. That's not West Ham. Whatever it is, we'll make it hard. We'll make it hard for ourselves because we always do. So, but we can win it. It's getting off to a good start. Yeah, we can't afford to be 1-0 down, I think, against this team. You know, because I think their tails will be up then. I just Moyes will be, Moyes. He'll try to keep it 0-0 to half time. He'll look at it that way, and if that's his plan, well, his plan better work. Because if that's what you've got, and you can see a goal or two, well, that's not a good plan, then, is it? We've lost it. So, because the trouble is, with one thing, but if you then trying to get a goal back, concede two, really, in a cup final like that, it's probably all over. To get, it's very hard then to get two back against an Italian side. So, yeah, I think it's possible, but we've got to keep it tight, but especially the first 20 minutes.
It's fair enough. Lee, do you think West Ham can win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man. We need to score first. If Lawrence didn't score first, they will sit back and we can't break teams down. West Ham West Ham will have a little. West Ham will have a little too much for them, I think. Hello, Cieran wants to nick one in the third half.
Well, extra time's the third half, isn't it?
And managers get some pennies on 3-1, 22-1. Wow, not bad odds. 3-1, 22-1, and the man is laughing at Mally. Right, well, look, guys, we'll start wrapping up. Cieran, Titch, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. Much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Looking forward to West Ham game on Wednesday. Wednesday, Champions League game, Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. So, do we think Man City's going to do it? I think it's written in stars that they're going to do it myself.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. You think so? I don't think they're going to fall the last hurdle, but they've got scars of last year, that semi-final, didn't they, against Real Madrid, where they had it won and then threw it away in the last 2 minutes or so. But I think they're over that now, and they just proved that against Real Madrid, and it ain't happening again. So I think they're hot favourites for it, don't you?
Yeah,
I do, mate. I do. Right, well, look, guys, we'll start wrapping up. And thank you, everyone in chat, for joining us tonight. Much appreciated. Good to be back. Lee, thank you for joining us with your sore throat. I know you struggled, but thank you.
Yeah.
He's man a few words, but very talented, I keep saying. Anyway, look, guys, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. And until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching this edition of the Table Team. There's only one for the to say. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Ciao from me.
See you later.
Take care, everybody. Goodbye.